Flying a jet in Battlefield 6 is some of the most fun you're gonna have, but doing it, and especially on mouse and keyboard, can be incredibly challenging. I mean, I was very well practiced in other Battlefields. In most games, I love the aircraft. I played the heck out of War Thunder, but this is an extremely different experience, and a lot of the videos on YouTube are gonna talk about strategy and approach and things like that, but they're not gonna literally show you the controls and what it looks like. We have the no board on the top left so you can see everything that I'm doing as I do it. They're not actually showing that, and that makes it really hard to understand, well, hey, how do we control it? First off, though, let's go into the settings because the settings are extremely important. We're going to go to mouse and keyboard. Now, vehicle mouse aim sensitivity. This is when you're actually aiming inside of a vehicle. This is not the actual control. So when you're trying to move or do a barrel roll or when you're trying to flip around, this is just your aim. And that's extremely important because when you're in this cockpit and you're aiming left to right, you're in a dogfight, you're trying to line up a shot. If your aiming control is extremely high, I play on a really high infantry aiming setting, it's just not going to work. You're not going to be able to actually find your target. So we do want some of the other sensitivities extremely high, but the vehicle mouse aim sensitivity, I have that relatively low. Then we can go into control settings here. And we want to make sure, unless we want to play Halo, that we change our inverts to off. And you'll notice that I have my aircraft control sensitivity all the way up to max. And I think this is essential. I don't think this is a preference. On mouse and keyboard right now, unlike War Thunder and other games, you actually have to pick up your mouse and pitch pretty hard to get a full turn. There are some tweaks. We can use afterburners and stalls to get around that, and we're definitely going to show you that, but having this at 200 is essential. The other thing is this vertical mouse aim ratio. You want to play around with this, but again, this is your actual aim when you're tailing someone or you're trying to sweep in, so you want to have that relatively low. And the zoom sensitivity coefficient, I just turned that all the way off. So those are the main settings that I'm using to help me control the jet. Now at any point in time, I can hold down V on my keyboard and I can free look. If you're flying, you will continue flying in that direction, but moving your mouse is not going to change the direction you're flying in, so you can actually see if someone's tailing you. You can look down for your bunker buster bombs and all those things. Pressing 3 is going to be your countermeasure. It's going to release those flares. You always want to try to be safe if you don't have your flares up. Of course, you have 4, 2, and 1 to switch throughout your weapons. You can press C to go into your cockpit view, and again, hold your right trigger to get a more dialed in focus. You'll notice that we have our crosshairs and also a circle around our crosshairs. This is the same if we are zoomed out. We have our white center point, and then we have those white dots around it. You can see if I shoot, those white dots start to load, and if they get full, well, hey, now I have to cool down. That circle is the exact same, and that's going to be our anticipated hit point. This comes into fact when we're flying. That's our anticipated hit point, same as that bigger circle there. So our center dot and our reticle are going to be where we're actually aiming, where we're going, and that little circle on both of these views is going to be where our bullet is anticipated to hit. So a lot of what you're doing when you're flying, especially in dogfighting, is going to be leading targets, much like if you're sniping, leading targets is a huge thing. That circle is just going to let you know where you need to have it. So you want that circle on your target, not your reticle. Alright, let's get into actually flying. Now none of this is scripted, so we're going to go ahead and just take off. We're holding W, and we're going to start to point our mouse up. This is easy. Point your mouse down, you go down. Point your mouse up, you go up. If you hold space, you will also pitch down very drastically. Now we have shift, which is going to be our afterburner. This is going to give us a nice little boost of speed, but we really want to use this when we're, say, running from someone or we're trying to stall out. If we stall out and we go way down towards the ground, we can very easily pick up, and this is good for escaping people, we can pick up with that afterburner, pitch up, and just confuse the hell out of them. You can see, I believe there's someone behind me right now. There is. So we can just yaw down, stall out, take them on a little ride, come back up, And now with turning, you can see that turning is a little bit interesting, and that's where we're using these guys. We're using our A and D keys. You can see I kind of slightly go left. Let me make sure this guy's not going to hit me and get back in zone. And if I'm pressing D, I'm going to go slightly to the right. Now, by themselves, this isn't going to do much. Even if we give some acceleration and do that, we're not really turning much. What we've really used this for, let me evade this guy again real quick. And use the afterburner. And then we can stall out and pitch. And I think we're pretty safe now. Oh, there he is. So he's actually pretty decent. So we want to use the pitch when we're turning. So let's just say I want to turn left. I'm not just going to pitch left. I'm going to pitch left on my mouse and not hold space there. Sorry, I'm thinking of evading this guy. So if I'm wanting to turn left, I'm not just going to hold A. I'm not just going to turn with my mouse like that. I'm going to do a little combination of the both with some afterburner, and now we're really turning, and we have to pick up our mouse. Not very much, right? So you can see my mouse there just on the constant, because most people are having the issue where you have to pick up your mouse, drop it, turn, and it creates this thing where you like kind of go and then you kind of don't, and that's where we're really using the afterburner with that guy right there. So we're just going to hold up and we're going to get a very nice smooth turn. We can stall out, take our shots on whatever we want. Oh no, we're getting close to the ground. We just afterburner up and away yet again. Right, so it's a combination of using that afterburner, using your A and D, and your mouse to get that nice full swing. Movement is the hardest thing in the jets, especially if you're wanting to quickly come in, do a bombing run. Oh, I want to do the bombing run, and then I want to get away really quickly. Or if you're needing to duck behind mountains, all of a sudden someone locked on, and you're needing to go real low over the mountains, doing all your stuff, and that's another very important thing. So you have to be very vigilant. So again, you hit 3, you're releasing those flares. Well, you release those flares, and they're still going to have another rocket shot on you. So you want to make sure you are making your runs and then getting behind mountains. You'll generally have a longer return to combat time, which gives you time to actually go around, do your stuff, and then get back in, come through, do another run. Now you might notice that this server looks a little bit different. There is a lot of people in aircraft, and that's because in your main menu, if you go down to server browser, go to community made servers, you can actually look for these test flight servers. These are servers that are filled with real people. It's not bots, but all of the health is extremely amped up, and the jets and helicopters will just continuously spawn. So you can spawn in, there's going to be 10 jets right there for you to take one, and they're just going to be on like 30-second spawn timers, so you never have to worry about waiting for a jet. Yeah, there's not really going to be people on the ground you can practice on, but you can do runs over helicopters, over other jets, and you can pick out targets. So we're wanting to bomb that building, and we can make sure we did that. Now let's talk about making some really tight turns. So sometimes you come head to head with someone, sometimes you're about to hit the ground, sometimes you're about to fall into a mountain, and you really need to be able to make a sharp movement. Well, while we're accelerating with A, we're not making extremely sharp movements, but if we have some speed, if we gain some speed, and let's just say all of a sudden we come across someone or someone is behind us and we need to make a sharp move, we can pull back, and that is going to stall us. About 3/4 of the way through, we can pick back up in the afterburner and we can make some extremely tight turns. So we're going up at a mountain, we pull on the stall, all of a sudden we are 180 in the other direction, and we can pick back up with our afterburner. The great thing is we can just do this over and over and over to make as many tight turns as we need to. and it is a lot of fun. And if someone's chasing you and you start doing barrel roll 180s all around them, there's a good chance that the person on the other end hasn't seen any videos on the jet. They're just struggling, and they're just trying to get a shot. Poor little guy, while you're over here doing rolls, maneuvers. You understand your turbocharge is going to help you come out of those, or your afterburner, your turbocharge. I don't even know where that came from. But you are just going to be able to be a master at this maneuverability, and then just come right on behind someone and make them have a very bad day. It should be noted, in these servers, these jets have like 1,000% health, so you're rarely going to be able to actually shoot one down. But we can see how that reticle works. So we can see and again, we're using all our keys here, we can see that reticle kind of follow it, or that circle rather. Let's make sure we don't hit that. You can see that anticipated hit point. So we don't want to have our reticle on them. We want to have that anticipated hit point. It's exponentially harder to control these things while you're talking and trying to make a point. Oh, but the jets are so much fun, and honestly, once you get the movement down and it just feels comfortable, like it's a whole new experience. Even the helicopters in this, they have a ton of health. But this is a great server to actually get your practice in with the jets. You can also come to a nice little landing right on this road. Honestly, if you want an easy experience, plug in your controller. The controller, just sensitivity, aiming, movement, control is so much better than mouse and keyboard. But if you don't have a controller, or you're fully dedicated to M&K, I hope some of these tips helped you out. Honestly, once you just get in one of these servers and practice your pitching and rolling and doing those quick turns, learning how it feels to pull up and then hit your afterburner, throw on the brakes, and then do those sharp turns, it becomes muscle memory. The second part is actually getting on target. Luckily, right now, most people are really, really bad at flying jets, so they're not going to be doing any intense maneuvers, and if you can just manage to stay alive, you're going to get the hang of it just fine.